All right, we're almost done. Okay, this is the very last part of these notes. And I just took the thing we just did on video number 3 and I put it on a new piece of paper. Now it's going to be on your notes as it is from before, but I have mine somewhere a little bit different to show you what's called a mapping. So we can show this relation, this function, this idea of this connection between numbers. We can show this connection using ordered pairs like that guy right there, using a table like that guy right there, or we can list them each individually in the domain and in the range. And again, this becomes much more important as we do more and more complex problems as we get into more and more complicated math classes. The problem with listing your domain and range like this is you don't know how each number relates to the other. So when you take those numbers, those values, and you pull them out of the coordinate pairs or you pull them out of the table, you no longer know what matches up with what, which is why we use what's called a mapping, M-A-P-P-I-N-G. And you want to put this thing on the very bottom of your notes where that big blank space is, and you're going to draw two like kind of rectangle-y looking things, okay? So this guy right here is going to be my domain, and the one next to it is going to be my range. And I'm going to put my domain values in the domain rectangle and my range values in the range rectangle, and I'll list them vertically because it just makes it easier. Right, so I have a -2 here, I have a 3 here, a 5 here, and a 7 there, and a -2 over here, a 0 here, a 4 here, and a 10 here. And what you can do with the mapping that you can't do when you just list the numbers out. So if you look at this guy right here, we don't really know what matches up with what. But if we use the mapping idea, what you can do is you can show the connection using like arrows or lines. So for example, the point 3, 4 is in my original problem. So I can take that 3 right here in my domain and connect it down there to the 4 so that I know that value of 3 matches up with that value of 4. I know for a fact that now -2 matches up down here with +10. I know that 5 matches with -2, and I know that 7 matches with 0. That's called a mapping, and the mapping allows me to draw or to list my domain values and my range values, my x's and my y's, separately like I might need to, but still it allows me to connect them so that I know what goes with what. It's a good kind of way to show everything that you need, how the points are worked and how the points are used, and also the domain and the range of separate values. So why don't you guys try and do the very same thing for the second group of information over here, okay? Make one rectangle for the domain, and make one rectangle again for the range. List those numbers in there and make those connected lines. Now remember, the range only has 3 numbers. So one of those range values is going to have 2 things connected to it. So go ahead and press pause here, see what you can do, come back and verify your right answers. Right. Domain is -1, 2, 3, and 5. And range is -1, +1, and 2. Now again, going back to those original points, -1, 2 is a point. So -1 matches up way down here with +2. And 5 also matches up with 2. So 5 matches up with the very same 2 like that. So those 2 domain values merge together because they share the same range value. Completely and totally fine. All right, 3, 1. So 3 links up here to +1. And the last one's going to be 2 linking up with -1. Now I like using colors because it shows to me nice and clear. If you don't have colored pencils, that's fine. If you want to distinguish them, you can make like dotted lines and solid lines and heavy lines and squiggly lines or whatever. But it's good to know how to do all of these different representations of the same thing. All right, so the notes are done now on ordered pairs and relations. Now it's time to practice. Good luck. Any questions, let me know, and we'll see how this goes.